Hello everybody, my name is Mansa, and today I'm going to be talking about how I made my Deku cosplay from scratch. This project was from October 2023 to May 2024, so about 7 months. This video is not a tutorial, it's just me showing you how I did things. If you want to try and replicate what I did, sure, go ahead. That's how I learn sometimes. Anyways, let's get on with it. The first part of the process is always getting the materials that you need. I want to quickly mention that I used my Vigilante Deku as a guide for making the shirt and everything. This cosplay was not made by me. It was a cosplay I bought way back in 2018 for Season 2 Deku, and then I mangled it up for Vigilante Deku and modified it, basically. First, I begin by taking a white colored pencil, trace around my Vigilante Deku shirt, remember to leave space for the seam allowance. I kind of wish I left more space at the bottom because the shirt was actually really short. I went back and used measurements to make sure that what I was doing was correct. I don't know what went through my mind, but I put a piece of cardboard under the shirt so that I could use the roller to cut the fabric, even though that's not going to work because it's not on a flat surface or a hard surface. So then I grabbed scissors and oh my god, what am I doing? Why am I struggling so much? Come on, man. So this material is actually really rough on the skin. It probably would be really uncomfortable if I left it without lining, so I decided to line the inside with like cotton. So again, here's the Vigilante shirt, and I'm using a piece of paper to indent the symbol so I can cut it out and have a little template. There are some costumes that make this symbol really small, and I don't know why. I really like the big symbols. Here you have me adding the side lines to the symbol so I can just make it one giant strip. Not sure why I'm struggling with the tape so much. I do that sometimes, I guess. Then I take my pattern and I put it on my yellow fabric and begin to cut. This is actually the first version of the cut. I think I did a second version of the cut because the first one, the seam allowance wasn't big enough. So here's a clip of me sewing the inside linings of the shirt. You can see I'm sewing the cotton to the duck fabric. I cut out a pattern for the pants. I cut out the inside lining and I pin it together. I love sewing clips so much, oh my god. My sewing machine's foot pedal is literally on the table because it's just faster for me to use it on the table with my hand than it is to move my entire sewing machine forward and then drop it on the floor to use it. After the pants and the shirt were sewn together, I went ahead and went to dye it, and I also dyed an extra huge piece of duck fabric so that I would use for the sleeves later and any other things I needed it for. I ended up dyeing it twice because the first time I just didn't put enough dye to clothing ratio, and the second time it looked a little better. When dyeing stuff, I highly recommend wearing gloves so you don't stain anything like my fingernails. I didn't have a pot to waste, so I had to do the bucket method with hot water instead. This dye is more known for putting it over the stove over a fire and boiling it so you could actually get the dye into the synthetic more. Next, I went on to go and tackle the foam work and the gloves. Gloves made me work a little harder because people make it look so easy on tutorials, and I'm just sitting here like, oh god. And it took me, I think, 4 or 5 gloves to actually get the perfect pair. So, to be expected, this project has been 7 months long, which means I've been documenting on and off for 7 months, which means I lost some footage. Hooray! I'm so sad. I thought about it. I'm like, wait a minute, didn't I have footage of this, this, and this? And I was looking through all my Google Photos and Google Drives and my computers and everything I had, everything saved on. It was not there. These little pieces were actually modeled by me and Maya, and then I 3D printed them and painted them. Me modeling was also the footage that was lost to time. I also modeled the buttons you'll see later on. Little things need to be constantly super glued. They keep ripping off and there's nothing I can really do about it. So I super glued the glove to the foam, so that's how that works. And I just kind of slipped my hand in there. And it's so funny, my friend was telling me, man, you got such small hands, and your hands can slip right through that. It should not have taken me all day to learn how to sew a sleeve, but because I've never done that before and I'm winging it, of course it did. Wondering why I'm not wearing this one here? This, I took the jacket off and it flung into the toilet, so this thing is drying. Okay, now it's drying for the second time. Pee pee poo poo. So Deku has these red sleeves on his design. They're supposed to be supports for his arms. And originally I had a few ideas. I wanted to execute a few of them and they just came out poorly. And I just had to rethink and problem solve my way out of this. Because again, I don't make plans when I make these kinds of cosplays. I just kind of wing everything. That's why I can't make tutorials, because I just wing everything. So after I decided that the foam, it was too big and it's not going to work around my arm, even if I rolled it around my arm multiple times, it just looked too bulky. So what I did was I then took out all the foam from the thing, and then I decided to take this red backing cotton and just start layering the pieces that I sewed up, just cut it up into a bunch of layered pieces, and then put them together and then make a zipper in the back, and then, well, that's how the sleeve was made. And I thought to make 2 sleeves, right? But I thought the piece that I made was way too long, so I just cut it in half, and then it turned out alright. So everything worked out. I'll get to the cape later. So let's move back down to the legs. Let's talk about the leggings and how I did those. First experience for me because the pleather did not like my sewing machine. My what's it called? The runner doesn't want to go through it, and I tried to change my runner to like a plastic one so it would go through faster and quicker, but it kept getting caught and sewing. The friggin' pleather was so painful. It just kept getting jammed, and I was like, ah! I covered a piece of foam with pleather, and I used the back just with hot glue. And here I am super gluing it to my leggings, and I'm holding it. And yes, I'm wearing a glove because that stuff burns. Don't handle super glue without gloves, you will regret it. So the knee pads are actually foam that I cut up, and then I used some super glue just to glue around the edges just to keep the foam wrapped around it, and then I used the pen to make the little details, and then I super glued it onto the leggings. Originally I actually did do some sewing around it just to keep it in place a little more, but like my hands hurt so much I just ended up using super glue. Hand stitching does keep more security on it, so I'm just glad I did that. The top foam wasn't even installed until maybe like last week when I released my Anime Impulse video. That was the first time the top has ever been put in place. What I did was I actually went back and I sewed the leggings to the pants because I was getting tired of having to pull up the leggings because they kept falling when I was walking. So they are now sewed onto the pants, and then I put these on top. Now my new problem is that they're really heavy and they make my pants fall. Like they feel like they're gonna fall when I'm walking, and that was my problem at Anime Impulse. My next solution, which probably isn't gonna be in this video, is to maybe just sew the pants and the shirt together as like a one-piece suit. But I'm still debating about that because it would be harder for me to use the bathroom that way. But the belt is not strong enough to carry the weight of the foam. I think back in July, right before Sakaido's competition, I actually sewed another bottom piece to the shirt. Like I made it lower because first of all, when I made it, it wasn't low enough. Second of all, when I moved my arms up or posed anyway with my the shirt moving up, it would show my belly, and I did not want that. So next I'm going to move on to talk about the belt. So the belt is made with red pleather, and the buckle is from my Vigilante Deku buckle, and I just reused that. When it comes to this cosplay was completed in May of 2024, but I've been wearing it out to cons and then noticing like things I need to fix, things I need to come back to, things I need to do before the next time I wear him. So a lot of adjustments are made, and this is one of the adjustments. The belt on the bottom with the full costume is the very first version of it, and the second one is where I fix the belt and the pouches. I do unfortunately have to fix the belt again because what I've noticed during Anime Impulse is that the belt is too short and will continuously unclip because it's so short, it just slips through the buckle. Another day. I'm going to talk about the pouches now. The pouches on the side are really weird because what I did was I took foam and then I covered it in the pleather, and then after that I could not glue it together because I tried to hot glue it together, but the hot glue came off the pleather like a freaking sticker. It was crazy. So then I tried to super glue it, that also came off like a sticker. Then I just decided I'm gonna do this the hard way. I'm gonna take a needle and some threads and then just sew it together, and I had to use pliers to move the needle so it wouldn't stab me, and also it was really hard to pull out, so don't take that out of context. I love the pockets. I love having Velcro pockets. I love having pockets on the side of cosplays because there are so many cosplays I have that just don't have pockets, and it's infuriating. I need to keep my phone somewhere on me and not in my backpack. With my wallet and my ID and all that, keep it with me and not in my backpack. I don't trust keeping my stuff in my backpack that often because what if someone snatches the backpack? Then everything's over. Like I can lose a few dollars, but like losing my ID, I did that with the pockets and it was a long process, but it looks good. It looks great. Wrap around, back up we go. Let's talk about the cape. The yellow cape was technically already done before I even began this Deku because that cape was actually for a different cosplay. That was for my Vigilante Deku cosplay, and I just love that cape because I made it so well. I just keep it. That cape is really tattered and dirty and stuff, and it was supposed to be for the Vigilante Deku, but because it looks so cool, like battle damage and burning, and I put little holes in them because of Lady Nagan, and I was like, I'm gonna keep that in there, and I just thought it was like the sickest thing ever. Both sides with that, but it turned out great in the end because you can see both the battle damage from both sides, like the burned edges and stuff. The burnt edges are actually paint. It's not like actual burns. Like some people would actually burn their cosplay with like a little lighter or something, but I just used actual paint, and I used fabric paint, and this paint actually hardened so that nothing would fray after it's been applied. I also mixed it with glue so that it would have some like extra durability and would stay longer. So my first cape actually did not hold my mask at all, so when I made the second cape I made sure there was like a huge gap in the front so that I could actually drop my mask in there, because Deku has his mask inside his cape half the time. I didn't make the model of the mask, I just found a free version of it online and I just downloaded that and then 3D printed it and then painted it. I styled the wig and I bought the shoes. I don't really have much to explain about that. And that's it. And I put these two little buckle hooks and I used Velcro to attach it so it could wrap around my neck, and that's all there is to it. So one thing I really did like about this cosplay is that he doesn't have his hood in this cosplay. You know, his little like bunny hood, he doesn't have it in this one, so I didn't have to bother to make it. The other one, the Vigilante Deku, I modified it so that it can clip on and off to the back of my suit. So that's pretty cool. And I think that's everything. If I miss something, I'll probably talk about it some other point, but that's it for now. And this cosplay is continuously getting upgraded and adjusted, and it just keeps getting better and better. I love this cosplay so much. I love Deku's character. My Hero Academia has been one of my favorite things since I was like 14. So it's come a long way. The manga's ended and the anime is coming to an end next year, and I'm just so excited. I just love this character so much, and I love My Hero. I have a lot of other My Hero cosplays that I've been doing and I've done, and I just love the series a lot. About this cosplay that I spent so much time, I even got an award for it, and I'm just like so overwhelmed and pleased with this cosplay, and it just took so much work, but it was so worth it. So thank you so much for watching, and I was thinking maybe I'll just do another one of these, but on my Bakugo cosplay, I did that one in 4 days, so I have all the footage and did not lose any of that. Sorry about losing the footage for this one. There was so much footage I wanted to show you, and I realized it's not around anymore, and I was so sad. I had like footage of me modeling in Maya to make the models. I had a recording of me sewing the yellow symbol onto the shirt. I had recordings of me doing like a ton of stuff for this cosplay, but I don't know where that span of like time in those recordings are. Usually I have it saved to either my laptop by AirDrop or I have it on my Google Photos, and neither showed. Don't know where it is, and I'm really sad about it. So, but 7 months is a long time and things get lost, so that's my benefit of the doubt. So I'm very sorry for losing that. Oh, yeah. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.